Welcome back to the grind, and in this video we are going to talk about Mystic Dispersion, where you have to complete Act 5, Chapter 3, Quest 1 with only 3-star non-Mystic champions, as I have just completed this quest. This is the first one of Carina's challenges that I have done, and again, you go into Story Mode, Storybook 1, and then you go to Act 5, Chapter 3, Quest 1, and this is the team that I used, primarily centered around a Colossus synergy team, one of those being Professor X, who actually ended up being my MVP for this path, and this is the path I chose. And just point out, I brought in Shang, which was amazing for the boss and made it a lot easier. So a couple of the problem fights are the first Black Panther, because he can reflect your stun, and then that War Machine, because you take a lot of block damage, and then you have to pick which side for the mini bosses. That side on the right there has degen damage that you take, so that's not very fun with 3 stars. So I went to this side, which just has increased power gain, so you have to deal with more special attacks, but it's not that bad. Some other people have taken this cosmic path, has a lot of easy champions, but some of them are a bit more annoying, and I think the path is a bit longer. It has 11 fights, and the path I took has 10 fights, so not that big of a difference depending on the champions you're using and the champions you prefer to fight. So I actually started recording later down the line because I wasn't planning to make this video, but then I realized how amazing Professor X is for this quest, because he does have access to some pretty significant damage ramp up, and we weren't really even unlocking the major damage that he gets to eventually, like with the massive prowesses he can build in content such as the Abyss. Now, the way you play Professor X is to do heavy attacks to build up to 100 channeling charges, and then you want to build up your power to a special 3. And the reason I brought Professor X was because you get increased special attack damage with his persistent charges, but you have to just take champions down in order to get them. And I was going to use Colossus after that and get the big damage from the synergy. But Professor X just works so well, I used him for most of them. So the first thing you do once you get to full power is charge your heavy attack, so you start to channel, and then interrupt that with a special 3. And once you build up more persistent charges, you're going to get more prowess from the special 3. So we come out with 5 prowess, 4 from the persistent charges, and 1 from interrupting a heavy attack channeling with the special 3. Now, every time we throw a special 1 or 2, we go into a heavy attack, and then wait till it says channeling and interrupt that with another special attack. Because every time you interrupt channeling with a heavy or a special attack, you get another prowess. This allows you to build 2 stacks of prowess with every special attack instead of 1. When you use your special 3 attack, you don't come out of that into channeling, so you don't need to charge your heavy. You can just dash straight in and then throw your special 2. Now, in order to refresh all your prowesses, you need to dash back during a channeling. So once you throw a special attack, you want to dash back, and that will refresh them so you can bring them and make them last longer. Now, I messed up here, and this is going to throw me off quite a bit. I was trying to race up to a special 3 and 100 channeling charges, but I messed up along the way, so my prowesses are going to expire because I'm not able to get through the rotation. But at the end of this cycle, we are going to dash back and refresh the prowess, and we'll take a look at what that looks like. And so basically, you just go into this heavy spam, and then at the very end, I hear dash back while I was channeling, and it refreshed all my prowess. And then you go back into parry and heavy attack to build up more of those channeling charges. You can also throw your special 1, and it gives you 25 channeling charges right away, and then channels for a while after it, allowing you to build up even more channeling charges. So that can be very helpful to ramp up as well. And then you can see here, we're back up to 100 channeling charges. We're going to interrupt channeling with a heavy attack, which once you've already gotten prowess, you only get 1 more from that one if you do it multiple times. Then we go into the special 2, which deals a lot of damage, and finish it off with a special 1. Something you can do to speed up the channeling ramp up, which doesn't matter as much at the start but might come in handy later on in the fight when you're trying to build back up, is to throw a second heavy attack after you knock them down with your first. Now, this is dangerous because they could dash in at you, so you might only want to do that when you have the falter ready, as I do right now. And then sometimes if you get them into the corner with no power, you can chain a couple heavies on as well. I don't typically do this too much because you only need to do about 5 heavy attacks to build up to 100 channeling charges, and then your primary goal is to build up power, so you really do want to hit them as much as possible. And now we're going to skip pass the special 3 and show a more ideal situation. So you dash in, throw the special 2, charge your heavy to get to channeling, then interrupt it with your special attack. Again, channel until it starts to say channeling, charge your heavy until it says channeling, and then again interrupt with the special attack. And then after the special attack, you want to dash back. Now, you don't have to use all the special attacks possible. If you interrupt it early, saving some power, and then dashing back to refresh your prowess, you're that much closer to another 3 bars of power. And then when you do get to 100 channeling charges, you already will have 2 or 3 bars of power, and you can go right back into your special cycle. Another thing I do want to point out that makes this path so much easier with Professor X, but doesn't work for some of the fights because they are tech, is putting on a Mystic Power booster. So when you come out of your special 3 and then throw off that special 2, you save a lot of the power, and then dealing damage gives you back enough power to throw off another special 2 right after. And you can do this sometimes once or twice in a row, and lets you cycle more specials back to back in each of these phases, making the fights quicker and much easier to deal with. Now, because they are high health pools compared to the champions you're using, you don't always steal back that much power, but if you have the extra boosts, then it might be worthwhile. Even for if you're just running Colossus or the fights that you do run Colossus, it works so nice because you can cycle through special 2s back to back a lot of times, and sometimes I even pushed over into a special 3, but it makes the fights end so much quicker. Now, I tried Professor X for the Mortal fight because you can bypass his Astral Evade as long as you have above 25 channeling charges. However, because of the node that steals your power every so often, you kind of have trouble ramping up and maintaining some damage through special attacks, so it wasn't really working out. But Shang-Chi is just amazing. It's like he's built for this fight because he can go unblockable, so he breaks through the block, he can get the openings and shut off the power gain. Also, because you can apply that slow, which is very easy to access and very long lasting, you can parry and do this fight as normal, and he will never Astral Evade you. The only thing you have to remember is that if you do attack into a stun, he will remove the stun. And so you saw I got lucky where I did one attack and then went to do a heavy attack, and the stun wasn't there, but luckily I still landed the heavy attack. Now, I did make a mistake at some point here and get hit by a special 1, but because I had the cleanse mechanic up, it actually removed it all right away, and I didn't even have to worry about it. But this fight was just so easy with Shang-Chi. Once I gave up on Professor X after that first try and didn't really do much of a dent, I came in with Shang-Chi, and you see we started pretty close to full health. We built up to 29 cheese and pushed to a special 2, and that was enough to finish off the fight, making this very easy. So I do hope this was a helpful breakdown of the paths, champions that I used, and how to manage with some fights. Let me know who you used or who you plan to use, and I do hope to see you in the next video.